Right, listen up, team. Today we're heading to some of the wildest, most remote coastlines on the planet. Our target is an animal with some serious attitude. They're small, they're tough, and they have an absolutely epic hairstyle. I'm talking about the Rockhopper Penguin. These aren't your average waddling penguins. They are the feisty acrobats of the Southern Ocean. Forget a gentle stroll. These birds live life at full speed, bouncing from boulder to boulder with incredible energy. They are famous for their spiky yellow and black crests that stick out like a punk rocker's hairdo, giving them a look that says, "Don't mess with me." It's this bold look and even bolder personality that makes them one of my absolute favorites. There are actually 3 distinct types, or species, of these awesome little birds, each living in slightly different parts of the world. First, you have the southern Rockhopper Penguin, which is the most widespread. You can find their bustling colonies on islands dotted around the tip of South America, like the Falkland Islands. Then there's the eastern Rockhopper Penguin. These guys prefer the sub-Antarctic islands of the Indian and Western Pacific Oceans, places like Campbell Island. Finally, we have the northern Rockhopper Penguin. This species is the most distinct of the 3 and lives much further north, on cool, temperate islands like Tristan da Cunha and Gough Island in the South Atlantic. Each one is a true survivor, perfectly adapted to its own rocky kingdom. So, what do they look like up close? Picture a small, stocky penguin, standing about 50 centimeters tall. That's roughly up to your knee. They're not big, weighing only about 2.5 kilograms, but they are built tough. Their bodies are a classic penguin black and white tuxedo, which provides brilliant camouflage in the water. From above, their black back blends in with the dark ocean depths, and from below, their white belly matches the bright sky. But the real showstopper is their head. They have fiery red eyes that seem to glow with intensity, and of course those magnificent yellow crest feathers that droop elegantly over their eyes. These aren't just for show. They play a huge part in their communication. Their name, Rockhopper, tells you everything you need to know about how they get around. While other penguins might awkwardly waddle or slide, these little dynamos have mastered a different technique. Their habitat is made of steep rocky cliffs and treacherous shorelines, impossible to navigate with a simple waddle. So they hop. Using both feet together, they can bounce up incredible inclines with power and precision. Their strong legs and sharp claws act like grappling hooks, giving them a superb grip on wet, slippery rocks. It's an amazing sight to behold, watching them navigate a landscape that would challenge a human climber, all with a fearless, hopping gait. When it's time to raise a family, Rockhopper penguins return to the same place every single year. These places are called colonies, and they are enormous, noisy cities of penguins. They build their nests in rocky crevices or in burrows dug among tough tussock grasses. Their nests aren't fancy, they're usually just a simple scrape in the ground, sometimes lined with a few pebbles, bones, or bits of grass they can find nearby. Finding the perfect spot is crucial, as they need shelter from the harsh winds and protection from predators looking to snatch an egg or a chick. The parents work together, with one often guarding the nest while the other goes off to find materials or food. The female rockhopper will typically lay 2 eggs, but here's where things get interesting. The first egg laid is always much smaller than the second one. In most cases, this smaller first egg doesn't hatch, or the chick doesn't survive for long. It's a tough world out there, and the parents put all their energy into raising the single, stronger chick from the larger second egg. Both the mum and dad take turns incubating the egg, keeping it warm under their bodies for about 33 days. They are fiercely protective, using their sharp beaks to fend off any nosy neighbors or threatening seabirds that get too close to their precious cargo. Once the chick hatches, it's a tiny ball of grey, fluffy down. For the first few weeks, it needs constant care. One parent will stay with the chick to keep it warm and safe, a process called brooding, while the other parent heads out to sea on a critical mission, finding food. This is an exhausting job. The hunting parent might be gone for days, traveling huge distances to find enough to eat. When they return, they bring back a belly full of partially digested food which they regurgitate to feed their hungry chick. This nutritious fishy soup is exactly what the chick needs to grow strong and healthy. The main items on the Rockhopper menu are small fish, squid, and especially krill, tiny shrimp-like crustaceans that swarm in the cold southern waters. To catch their prey, these penguins are incredible swimmers and divers. They shoot through the water like little torpedoes, using their flippers to propel themselves and their feet to steer. They can dive to depths of 100 meters, holding their breath for several minutes at a time as they chase down a meal. Their streamlined bodies are built for speed and agility underwater, a stark contrast to their slightly clumsy hopping on land. It's this dual mastery of land and sea that makes them such successful survivors. Life in a rockhopper colony is anything but quiet. Imagine thousands upon thousands of these birds packed together on a single stretch of coastline. The air is filled with a constant cacophony of sound. Rockhoppers are incredibly vocal, and they have a whole range of calls to communicate with each other. They bray, they squawk, and they trumpet. This constant noise is how they find their mates in a crowd, warn others of danger, and defend their tiny patch of territory from their neighbors. Walking through one of these colonies is an assault on the senses. The smell of guano is powerful, and the noise is deafening, but the energy is absolutely electric. Their energetic nature really comes to life during the breeding season. Courtship is a noisy and dramatic affair. A male looking for a partner will stand tall, point his beak to the sky, and let out a loud braying call. He'll shake his head from side to side, showing off those brilliant yellow crests to any interested females. If a female is impressed, she might join in, and the pair will engage in a bonding ritual of head swinging and calling together. These displays strengthen the bond between the pair, who will often stay together for many breeding seasons. It's a beautiful display of loyalty amidst the chaos of the colony. Fights are also a common sight in these crowded communities. With nests often just a beak's length apart, territory disputes are inevitable. A penguin might accidentally hop into a neighbor's space, or one might try to steal some nesting material. When this happens, a squabble breaks out. The penguins will face off, squawking loudly and jabbing at each other with their sharp beaks. They might even lock beaks and try to push each other over. These fights are usually short and noisy, but they are a vital part of establishing and maintaining order within the densely packed colony, ensuring everyone knows who's boss of their tiny piece of rock. After about 3 weeks of being cared for by their parents, the chicks are big enough to join a creche. This is basically a penguin daycare. The young chicks huddle together in large groups for warmth and safety, while all the adult penguins head out to sea to hunt. This is a crucial survival strategy. By grouping together, the chicks are much less vulnerable to predators like skuas or giant petrels. It also frees up both parents to focus on foraging, making sure they can bring back enough food for their rapidly growing offspring. The creche is a noisy, fluffy huddle of young penguins, all waiting for their parents to return with a meal. Despite their tough and resilient nature, Rockhopper penguins are facing some serious challenges in the modern world. All 3 species are currently listed as vulnerable by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, which means they are at high risk of extinction in the wild. Scientists have observed alarming declines in their populations over the last few decades. For example, the northern Rockhopper penguin population has plummeted by over 90% since the 1950s. This is a stark warning that these incredible birds are in trouble and need our help to secure their future. One of the biggest threats they face is climate change. As the oceans warm, the distribution of their primary food sources, like krill and small fish, is changing. The penguins have to travel further and further from their colonies to find enough food, which uses up vital energy, especially when they have hungry chicks waiting back on shore. This can lead to breeding failure, as parents simply can't find enough food to raise their young successfully. Unpredictable weather patterns and more frequent, intense storms also pose a direct threat to their nesting sites, washing away eggs and chicks. Human activities also have a major impact on their survival. Overfishing in the Southern Ocean reduces the amount of available food, creating direct competition between fishing fleets and penguins. Pollution is another serious danger. Oil spills can be devastating for penguin colonies. If a penguin's feathers are coated in oil, they lose their waterproofing and insulation, leading to hypothermia. They can also ingest the toxic oil while trying to preen themselves. Entanglement in marine debris like discarded fishing nets and plastic is another deadly hazard that can drown or injure these birds while they are out hunting at sea. Thankfully, there are conservation efforts underway to protect these feisty hoppers. Many of their breeding islands are now protected areas, which limits human disturbance and helps to preserve their habitat. Scientists are working hard to better understand the threats they face, tracking their movements at sea to identify important feeding grounds that need protection. Reducing plastic pollution, establishing sustainable fishing practices, and tackling global climate change are all crucial steps that we must take. By working together, we can ensure that the punks of the penguin world continue to hop, squawk, and thrive on their wild, rocky shores for generations to come.